America's ruling class is constantly denouncing this country as racist. There's only one problem. It's not true. Most Americans aren't racist. They're really nice people. So evidence of actual racism is getting harder to find. Instead, they fall for racial hate hoaxes. They make them up, they disseminate them, they amplify them. The latest example comes from the state of Georgia. Late last week, Georgia Democratic lawmaker Erica Thomas said she was told to, quote, go back where you came from at a supermarket checkout.
For that white man to come up to me and call me a son of a bitch and lazy and go back where I came from because he had a couple items and he wanted to get in front of me. And he said I had 20 items in a 10-item line. What will make you that angry?
So, of course, the press love this because it bolsters every preconception they've ever had, bolsters their bigotry. Another racist Trump supporter on the loose. Actually, it turns out the man that Thomas was accusing, Eric Sparks, is not only Cuban, he's a liberal. He came forward and called her story a total lie. Watch this.
She said a few words. I stated, well, you're selfish little bitch. I did say that. That's all I said after that, and I walked out of Publix. Her words stating on Twitter and her video, stating I told her she needs to go back where she came from, are untrue. I am white, but I am Cuban. I was raised with a Cuban grandmother that didn't speak any English. Facebook, I will make it public. Proven facts. All my statements are anti-Trump, anti-Republican, anti-racism, anti-bigotry. This lady does not know me. She's using this to get on camera for her political purposes.
I hate Trump. Stop calling me a racist. That's his defense. Sounds like he's telling the truth, though, Mr. Sparks. Well, as he continued to try to defend himself, Thomas kept harassing him. Watch this.
You know what? I had 11 items. I had 11
you had
items.
More than that, man.
You know what?
Show
I have my receipt. I have my
Show
receipt. And they will see it.
Show it.
But you know what? It doesn't matter if I had any items.
You had at least 20.
You cannot tell a pregnant, 9 months pregnant woman.
Did I know you were pregnant?
I told you that. I told you I was
After you
pregnant.
took 2
and
steps
you
towards
said,
me.
I don't care. You're a lazy son of a bitch. That's what you said.
By the way, Thomas later admitted that she was lying. She admitted that Sparks never said the things that she initially claimed he said. But it doesn't matter. Her lawyer now says, brace yourself for this, that Sparks should face criminal charges for saying mean things to Thomas. Watch this.
Thomas and her attorney believe the incident was racially motivated and want Sparks to face charges.
This individual violated Georgia law by placing her in reasonable fear of receiving a violent injury. That is a crime in this state.
Dave Rubin hosts the Rubin Report on YouTube, and he joins us tonight. Dave, clarify this if you would. It's still America, right, with a First Amendment, but you can be criminally prosecuted for insulting a lawmaker in this country?
Tucker, for now on when I come on your show, can we put a little title underneath that just says it's completely bananas? Because every time I come on, I think, well, it can't get crazier, it can't get more bananas, more bonkers, and it does. I mean, this is just patently absurd at every level whatsoever. I mean, first off, you may have heard the story of the boy who cried wolf. I think we all grew up with that story. Yes. We now live in a time of the politician who cried racism. I mean, they are using the false cries, as Senator Hawley correctly pointed out in the previous segment, they're using the false cries of racism to silence everyone. I live in Los Angeles. Have you ever been to a Whole Foods where you walk into the express line and you have one thing over? Most likely someone is going to scream at you, and it has nothing to do with their race or your race or the rest of it. But if you really want to see how pernicious identity politics is, because that's really what this is about, of course, it's that the gentleman there had to go back and sort of imply that he's not even white. In a weird way, he was using identity politics because he's really Cuban, and that should then create a force field around him. This is a set of ideas that is doomed to implode on top of itself, and we have to call it out. And just to shout out Senator Hawley again, I think your question was right, which is what do you do when you know this is happening to you? And you must punch back. You know, these false cries of racism, they only work if we give them power. And a story like this, And the idea that now she's getting the legal system involved, they had a little personal private spat over how many items can go in a certain lane. That's it. There was nothing racial here. He obviously did not tell her to go back where she came from, which would be pretty freaking incredible in and of itself, and that just happens to be what we're all talking about this week because of Ilhan Omar and Trump. So, you know, we just need to keep calling these things out because eventually they will run out of steam.
Yeah, and shame will be reintroduced into the public conversation. That would be nice. I would definitely enjoy that. Dave Rubin, thank you for the clarity.
Thanks, my friend.